My uncle has been telling everyone he's in my grandfather's will, but my grandfather just told me the truth at Thanksgiving. My Uncle Rick is the kind of man who tells you how much his watch cost within 5 minutes of meeting you. He drives a BMW. He leases, but tells people he bought. He wears cologne that arrives before he does. He once corrected a waiter's pronunciation of bruschetta at an Olive Garden. An Olive Garden. You're not in Italy, Rick. You're next to a highway. Rick has been telling the entire family for 10 years that he's the main beneficiary of my grandfather's will. He says it at every holiday, every birthday, every random Tuesday dinner. Dad and I have an understanding. The house is coming to me. We already discussed it. He says this in front of my dad, his own brother. Like my dad is invisible. Like my dad doesn't exist in the inheritance conversation. My dad never responds. He just eats his food and changes the subject. My mom told me once, your father doesn't care about the will. He cares about his dad. That's the difference between my dad and Rick in one sentence. My grandfather is 84. He's sharper than anyone in this family. He does the crossword in pen. He reads 2 newspapers every morning, not on his phone. Actual newspapers. He says the internet is a fad. He's been saying this since 2004. He will die on this hill. Thanksgiving, big dinner, 22 people. Grandpa is at the head of the table. Rick is 3 seats away and already talking about the house. When I get the property, I'm going to redo the kitchen first. Open concept. Knock out that wall. He's renovating a house he doesn't own. He's planning construction on someone else's property. My grandfather is sitting right there, alive, eating turkey. And Rick is remodeling his house in conversation like the man is already gone. My dad says nothing. Eats his turkey. Passes the gravy. After dinner, Grandpa taps my shoulder. Come to the garage. Bring your jacket. Don't tell anyone. He says it like we're planning a heist. I follow him. He closes the garage door and sits on his workbench. The same workbench he built in 1978. He looks at me and says, I need to tell you something about my will and I need you to keep your mouth shut until I'm dead. Heavy opening. I sit down. He pulls a folder from behind a toolbox. Inside are legal documents, updated 6 months ago. I read the first page and my brain short circuits. The house isn't going to Rick. It's going to my dad. Everything. The house, the savings, the property, all of it. My dad, not Rick, not split, not shared. My dad, the man who never once mentioned the will, who never asked for anything, who drives 45 minutes every Saturday to mow Grandpa's lawn, fix the gutters, and watch baseball on the same couch they've shared for 30 years. I look at Grandpa. Does Rick know? Rick knows what Rick wants to know, which is whatever makes Rick feel important. He tells me everything. Rick stopped visiting 2 years ago. He calls once a month. The calls last 6 minutes. Grandpa times them. 6 minutes, once a month. He said, Rick calls me like I'm a subscription he forgot to cancel. But here's the part that made my jaw hit the workbench. In 2018, Rick borrowed $40,000 from Grandpa. He said it was for his daughter's college tuition. Grandpa wrote the check because that's what fathers do. 2 months later, Grandpa drove past the marina and saw a brand new boat with Rick standing on it, holding a beer. The boat's name painted on the side, Family First. Family First. He named the boat Family First with his father's money. That was supposed to be for his daughter's education. He bought a boat with college money and named it after the value he violated to get it. That's not irony. That's a crime against the English language. Grandpa never said anything. He just watched, the way he always does, quietly, from his chair by the window, counting who shows up and who doesn't. My dad shows up every Saturday without being asked. He mows, he fixes, he sits, he doesn't post about it, he doesn't take photos, he doesn't perform. He just shows up every single week, rain or shine, for 10 years straight. Grandpa said, your uncle performs love. Your father just does it. I've been watching for 10 years and the difference is clear. Rick shows up when there's an audience. Your dad shows up when there's nobody watching. That's how you know. He closed the folder. Then he said something I'll never forget. Rick measured the rooms last Christmas. Did you know that? He brought a tape measure to my house on Christmas Day. He measured the kitchen while I was in the other room. Your aunt told me. He's already planning what he's going to do with my home while I'm still living in it. He measured the rooms at Christmas while Grandpa was alive and opening presents in the next room. Rick was measuring his future in his father's house with a tape measure and no shame. Grandpa looked at me. I want you to be there when the will is read. I want you to watch Rick's face. He's been performing for 10 years. He can watch the curtain close. I said, Grandpa, that's kind of brutal. He said, I'm 84. I've earned brutal. He went back inside, sat in his chair, ate pie, watched Rick tell Aunt Karen about his plans for the open concept kitchen. Grandpa listened, smiled, ate another bite. That man is playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. He's been watching, counting, keeping score, not out of cruelty, out of clarity. He knows who shows up for him and who shows up for the house, and he made his decision accordingly. I haven't told anyone. Not my dad, not my mom, not Rick, especially not Rick. Grandpa said to wait, so I'm waiting. But every time Rick mentions the house, I look at Grandpa, and Grandpa looks at me, and we share a silence that says everything his will eventually will. Rick brought a contractor to Thanksgiving this year to get estimates for a house he will never own. Grandpa shook the contractor's hand and said, nice to meet you. Beautiful work you do. Then he winked at me, 84 years old, eating pie, winning.